All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Blind Side Blitz. I am Jim McFee, and right there is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
That's right. What's up, Blitz Nation? Welcome back for another week of NFL talk with your boys down here. Listen, if you're new to the show, if you're just tuning in, could you do us a huge favor? Head over to our YouTube channel at Grumblings Media. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up while you're there. Absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a damn thing but a click. That's pretty tough to do. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. That's right. Spread the word around. Jim, let's get into this thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about this. The undefeateds finally go down, Joe. The Eagles and the Bills both lose in dramatic fashion. Let's start off with the Eagles game first, to where, again, the Eagles looked like they were taking everything that Denver was giving them. We've heard about that Denver defense here, but they were playing into the hands of the passing game, which is kind of funny, too, is because everybody keeps telling, the Eagles, hey, you guys don't pass enough. Look at AJ Brown. You should trade him at this point. What are you doing? And things. So they kind of get it going with the passing game, get that going. And so you're not seeing Saquon, but of course, you're taking whatever Denver gives you. But then in the second half, they switch it up on them and disguise it all. And it seemed like after that, the wheels came tumbling off here. The Eagles didn't know what to do, still couldn't get the running game going. And now here we go. They let the Denver Broncos back into this thing, and they come back out with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And the game was pretty stagnant. It was pretty low scoring for the most
Right.
part. After the first half, you're like, oh, all right. Well, the Eagles got the lead. Most likely, they're just going to kind of grind out the time and kind of waste some time until we get to the end of the game, and it might be just all over already. From what we saw in the first half, second half, very different. You noticed a little bit more fire in the Denver Broncos. They made some adjustments that worked out really well, and they stormed back and then took the lead. And then it's like the Eagles were caught off guard. They were on their heels, and they were like, "Wait a second, this team didn't give up. Like they played all four quarters. We thought we had them beaten down and already won." So listen, this is why like you when you get a lead, you can't let off the gas pedal. You got to continue putting up points. You got to continue playing the defense that was working early on and not change too much there. Obviously, unless something changes on the offensive end, but yeah, I feel like the Eagles kind of let this game slip away, and the Broncos just capitalized.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing is you said it was stagnant. They had a 17-3 lead right up until the fourth quarter, and it was late in the fourth quarter, and that's what ended up happening. Just like that. Like you said, it seemed like it just turned around, and it did. It just got really bad to worse for the Eagles. And they couldn't rebound from it. And so when almost you kind of look at the Eagles now, they've been all season. They haven't been like that team that's been dominating like that team from like last year, right? So it's not a big surprise that they face like a team like this, to where they've got a pretty good defense here. Bo Nix in his second season, Sean Payton here dialing things up. Not a bad team. So where you give a team like that opportunities, again, like you're not scoring a whole lot of points, you're comfortable with that 17-3 lead. The team like this can come back at you just like that, and that's where it ended up unfolding for you. And how about Evan Engram having a home here in Denver here, making some plays for the Broncos.
Yeah, it's amazing. The guy actually was healthy, and that goes a long way in the NFL. Like if you're healthy and you can play, that was the biggest thing for him is he was missing time due to injury. So the guy
Mhm.
finally comes back and has basically like a breakout game for the season. I mean, I know he wasn't there before, but hey, when he's out there, he is a major weapon, and that's the reason why the Denver Broncos signed him. Because they wanted that receiving threat at the tight end position, but they just
Mhm.
didn't quite have that explosion at the position. So here comes Ingram taking over, and you know what? It basically played a huge part in that fourth quarter, stride to win.
Absolutely. Now let's go to the Buffalo Bills game here. They played late on Sunday night against the Patriots, and we knew this was going to be a pretty good matchup. Again, these divisional games are always close.
Always good, always
Patriots
tough.
looking like they're getting better, right? And the
Mhm.
Bills. We talk about Josh Allen in that offense and what he's able to do with James Cook running the ball effectively as well.
Mhm.
But that defense again has not been the best, and this is where it kind of caught up with them, to where now the Patriots not turning the ball over as much, not having those penalties, kind of clean that up a lot. add in, you know, Drake Maye playing great and Stefon Diggs back for revenge. He was fired up and playing. He wanted blood out of this one. He could
Oh,
say
you know it.
wants about this one and how
You know it.
trusting God and everything, and now he's throwing hearts to the fans. But he wanted to come in here and make a statement. He got everybody fired up at the sidelines, and he played like his old self. It was crazy to see him bounce back after not having a great year over there with the Texans. To come play here with the Patriots and light it up just like he did. He played with a vengeance.
Right, you are. I mean, Stefon Diggs, like, here's the crazy thing is, this guy damn well had this game circled for the season. Like,
Mhm.
he knew he wanted to make a big, big impression on his former team and show that he still has it, that he can still be that dynamic player, that go-to guy. And Drake May used him. And you know what? The fact that the connection was there too was a big tool that they had to utilize against this Buffalo Bills defense. And wow, like all I have to say is like what a performance that was put on by Drake May and his boy at wide receiver one, Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think their defense really stepped up in this one too, pressuring Josh Allen enough. I think just with the secondary, because if you look at if Josh Allen, he had like all day, but really was searching for people to be open and just
Mhm.
couldn't get it anywhere. So he had to go and get again and make plays with his legs to try and do something there. And they were just able to lock him up enough that he wasn't getting major first downs here and kind of limiting that offense just enough to get the victory. And it was a great game to watch. It was intense, and I think it was a statement game for the Patriots. How they're saying, "Hey, we're here to play. We're a different team." Mike Vrabel's here. We believe in what he's got, and also how he was preached through Belichick. So it's almost like the reincarnation of the Patriot way is coming to the Patriots again, but then with his feel that he does, him getting physical, him getting into the practices, hitting with everybody with pads on and stuff, something that Bill Belichick would have never done. But he says, listen, this is how I was taught to do it. We won multiple championships. Stick with me, and this is how we'll get it done. And this Patriot team looks really dangerous too right now. Not only just in this division, but in the league right now, where this league is going up and down, up, right and up, and teams that seemed like were going to be good are trajecting downwards, and now these other teams are emerging from the ashes here. So it's really interesting, especially after this week with the upsets, the come from behind victories, where some of these teams you don't know what you're getting every week.
I'll tell you, like the one thing that you can count on though is that Tampa Bay will always come back to win the game. I mean, so
Right.
far, 4 out of the last 5 weeks for Tampa Bay, like Baker Mayfield has been electric in the fourth quarter, and storming back to get those wins to steal them away from the opposing teams. That's one thing that you can count on for sure this season so far. And Jim, you're right; it's very uncertain up to this point what teams actually are. Are they what fool's gold? Are they tricking us? Are they a mirage at this point where we're just kind of putting some of these teams on a pedestal initially right away? And then before you know it, 2 weeks later, they lost to the worst team in football, and you're like scratching your head trying to figure this whole thing out. It's driving you insane. I mean, guys that are picking week to week with their pick 'em picks, their bets, putting their bets into everything, you're just losing money at this point because there's no clear path to what these teams actually are yet. And we're already in through week 5, going into week 6, and we're almost halfway, everyone. We're almost halfway, and we still have no clue what all these teams are capable of. But on the downside, I can tell you this: we all know which way the Raiders are directed, downward. Like they're god awful. They just
uh,
got beat up by the Colts this week, and not just like one kind of like decent score, high 20s to like low tens. No, they just blew them out of the water, like 40
right.
points, and put them to
Right.
rest. So
Yeah, and it was terrible too, just because with the Colts game, they didn't have their kicker, so they were going for two every time because they didn't have the
had to,
kicker.
yeah.
But it was almost like I felt bad again though because they kept going for two and making it or whatever. So like that, so it's almost like they're piling it on. But they weren't doing it intentionally. Eventually
No, I mean,
putting
that's the funny thing. The
Anthony
2 point
Richardson in the game.
conversion thing is
Yeah.
actually harder. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? To
Yeah.
get to, you could even see some of the missed throws that
Hmm.
Danny Dimes was having a hard time getting 2 point conversions. But going back to the Bills and Patriots game real quick, I did want to mention this. Like, listen, This is a game of turnovers, right? And if you're a Patriots fan, you fear every single week because your running backs are fumbling the football.
Yeah.
Not so much Devery Henderson, but Ramondre Stevenson keeps
Hmm.
getting the starts, but he's got 8 fumbles already. Are you
Yep.
kidding me? How can
Yep.
you leave this guy as a
Yeah.
starter? So that was one big critical thing coming into this matchup. But luckily, they were able to limit it. Ramondre Stevenson only fumbled once. So, rejoice, Patriot fans. At least you only had that much damage done to you. But the Bills turned it over 3 times. Josh
Hmm.
Allen throwing an interception, two
Hmm.
fumbles that were lost
Yeah.
on the ground. Like that's basically the whole decision of the game right there is turnovers. And we say this week in and week out because that's the deal. If you don't turn the ball over more than the opponent, more than not, you're going to win the game in the end.
Yeah, yeah, and that was the key to a lot of different games, and the cause to a lot of these come from behind victories. That's what we saw a lot in these here in this week. Baltimore though, still, how about them, Joe? Again, just not performing at all. We said this
I
week
mean,
they needed to kind of lean on Derrick Henry here. And what's funny too is because I was listening to John Harbaugh in the press conference, and it seemed like he was all for bringing Tyler Huntley up from the practice squad and putting him in because he's comfortable with the offense, this and that. And he wasn't thinking about starting Cooper Rush, but then Cooper Rush goes in and it's a disaster altogether. And again, Derrick Henry not able to get going. And what a disappointment in Baltimore right now. We get all the injuries and stuff, but wow, I mean, whoever would have saw this coming here for this season for Baltimore, who was like a Super Bowl favorite.
yeah, I mean, well, we talked about like the struggles last week about this team and how without Lamar Jackson, this team's doomed. Like when you lose your starter, it's critical. Like this offense fits him to a T. Not Cooper Rush. I mean, honestly, I question the decision to go with Cooper Rush with this offense where
Mhm.
you need to be a mobile quarterback. Cooper Rush is not that. So you kind of went against the grain, expecting better results, wasn't there, and you lost the game because
Mhm.
you're not your own identity anymore. You're kind of just trying to come up with anything, throwing darts at the board, hoping it sticks in the bullseye, and it's just not happening. So, like for the Ravens going forward, they're hoping that they can possibly get Lamar Jackson this week. That there's been reports that he may be able to go this week. Now, I think that's a little egregious. I think it's a little,
Yeah.
aggressive, saying that he's already going to come back after a hamstring. But listen, it goes a long way. If Lamar Jackson's there, he is the key piece to this offense. Without him, they're gonna continue to struggle.
Right. And they said that basically don't put him in there too unless he can't be him and do his thing. And
Right.
that's what he's actually
Yes.
struggled with this year is being him, right?
Himself.
Sitting in
Yeah.
the pocket too much, just looking for things, not taking off. So Baltimore, they've got a lot of stuff to search through with this season. So yeah, Joe, a lot of different upsets. Oh my goodness, no more undefeateds. That's the first time in 11 seasons, I think they said, that we haven't had an undefeated team past week 5. Which is pretty crazy, right? You come to think about it,
Welcome
you're like,
to the
wow, everybody
NFL.
just like that. Yeah. You wanted parity. There it is, right?
You got it.
So let's talk about last night's game in too at Jacksonville, right? They've been looking pretty good. They just came through and beat the 49ers last week in a
Mhm.
good one. But this defense, and this defense, Joe, has always been good. Jacksonville always puts up a good defense. They're ranked 8th right now, but they're number 1 in turnovers right now. So we saw that really stand out in this game last night, especially with that pick 6 with White there. I mean, it was just crazy.
Devin Lloyd
Devin
had that
Lloyd, Devin Lloyd with the pick. So the Jaguars, I mean, like I said, they've always had a great defense. The difference this year is the offense. Liam Cohen was brought in to do just that, fix the offense. They're running the ball efficiently with Trevor Lawrence also is healthy and, making plays with his legs too. But he still does need work with his decision making, and we'll see if that pans out this season. But right now, they're playing at a good level.
Yeah, here's the problem, and you just kind of alluded to it already, is that the Jaguars have a stout enough offensive line where they can run the ball down your throat, and that's kind of the recipe of how they win a lot of these games is the ground game. The real issue is the air game with Trevor Lawrence and throwing the football. The dude just has it. He barely gets over 200 yards every single week. It's hard for him to even get to 250. they're not asking him to do too much. They're limiting that. And knowing from last year his struggles in trying to throw the football, I feel like there's a different philosophy now, with this new regime, with Liam Cohen coming in, calling certain plays that are working, a whole differently orchestrated offense, and the way they attack the run, and the way they you know play off the run with RPOs, and you're seeing that with Trevor Lawrence, he's able to have a lot more freedom with his legs now in this
Mhm.
new offense, where before maybe they wanted him to stay in the pocket, deliver the football, let the players on the field make the plays. This philosophy is a lot different. You can see it already. Anytime the Jaguars offense started to get a little, stagnant and a little slow and not really making any big time plays, Trevor Lawrence had to drop back, pretend basically like he was going to throw the ball, and then just take off when the play started to break down. Like, you just saw that happen, and every single time you're getting 10 or more yards from Trevor Lawrence with his legs. So to keep these drives going, and that's really what kept the Jaguars in this game the whole time. Defense obviously played a huge part, but I'll tell you this right now: this Jaguars team, as long as Trevor Lawrence has that threat of being able to break the pocket and take off, and this running game can continue its surge, this Jaguars team is going to be tough to contend with.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Again, and the way their division is, and then also their schedule moving forward too, it's very doable for them to make a playoff run here if they can keep this together. And like I said, the real question is Trevor Lawrence. Again, he
Mhm.
looks a little better, but still 6 touchdowns, 5 turnovers. Though again, you got to eliminate those turnovers and his decision making. And it was brought up on the broadcast last night. Look, you got a running back right open in the flat. Just dish it to him quick. No thinking, no
Yeah,
looking. Just hit him.
Trevor
Hit
Etienne.
the guy.
Yeah,
Get underneath. Get underneath. You're still going to get that first down. Go for the touchdown shot. So still making mistakes
instead,
for a guy that's been drafted where he was in his position. Um, he's supposed to be the savior again. If for Duval,
yeah,
should be doing better than that and making better decisions. Uh,
absolutely, and that's the problem with Trevor Lawrence, and it always has been. So
mhm,
that just goes to show you that he's not evolving. He's
mhm,
flatlined.
mhm,
There's no trajectory of him going up and being that better quarterback. They keep hoping every year. Maybe this is the year that he just kind of pops off. Maybe this
mhm.
is the year that he's going to ascend. He's going to be the quarterback for the future, like, and have no worries about it. But we're not seeing it still. The only reason that the Jaguars are able to win these games and look really good. I mean, kudos to the Jaguars for beating the Chiefs. They did their thing. But
Mhm.
when I'm thinking about when you get closer to the end of the season, when you have to possibly make that playoff push, this is where I think they're going to be at a loss. When they're behind the 8 ball, instead of them leading the charge and being ahead and keeping it, close. What happens when the cards are flipped? What happens when they are down a couple touchdowns, maybe 17 points? And now you have to throw the ball to kind of get back into the swing of things. I'm not seeing it yet. I'm a little concerned about that for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not so sure that Trevor Lawrence can pull that off. We haven't seen it yet, still, even with how well this team has been playing.
Well, last
So
night
that's
I
the big
thought
question.
think where they're challenged, they did do that last night. To make that drive and bring it down all the way, especially on that fourth down pass to Brian Thomas. I mean, that was right in on the money. But again, the little tangibles, him, making those mistakes, not getting the ball over there quicker and scoring, even quicker. And who knows, it might have been bad if they scored quicker than they did. But then tripping on a player, stumbling on a player, falling down, almost blowing the whole game right there. But
Mhm.
luckily, able to regain his composure, get back up, and run it into the end zone for the dramatic win. I mean, it was pretty crazy, but I think driving the ball down, I think that showed something in them to that drive to get down there and to take this victory. Like you said, we haven't seen it before, but I think that was a stepping stone last night towards that. But I think they still need to build off of that.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it from Trevor Lawrence yet. He's got to
And
show me more.
I think,
You can't just have one good drive and say that you're going to be the go-to guy for the next 10 years.
well,
I
no,
mean,
we
I got to
hear,
see
I
more from him.
understand that.
And that's
Yeah.
the problem right
Hmm.
there is the passing attack. Like, if you're not able to, if you can't utilize that to kind of break open, because what's going to happen when you play a better defense that is rock solid against the run? The running game ain't working at all, and now you have to go to the pass almost exclusively. That's what I worry about with this team. Is like there's there's no threat yet. We haven't
Mhm.
seen that threat consistently from Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
Absolutely. I think one thing that stood out though last night too is, and they're talking about it all over, but you've talked about this a bunch of different times. You've said this for the last couple of years now, maybe
I
it's the
have.
last
No one
4 years.
listens to me.
I know, but now finally Chris Jones exposed on national television. Even as what it is finally it took that long for Chiefs fans to admit it, Joe. It's Chiefs fans calling him out now. His hustle. Well, I saw
Yeah.
it multiple times last night, and on that game-winning touchdown, it was the most glaring thing that you could possibly see. Chris Jones not even attempting to rush the quarterback. Then after multiple times falling down, getting back up, Chris Jones is standing there and just kind of looks in the direction and watches them run in. Has a clear shot to kind of go at least trying to make an attempt. Like
Making it
this is for the game.
Mhm.
And like you said, even on I think that fourth down play, he didn't even rush to get in to try and pressure Lawrence at all. Just kind of stood, got the double team or whatever, and just stood and watched, did this whole thing and watched the play
Yeah.
happen. Like he's a fan watching the game. And you said this multiple times that throughout the season, you'll see him do this. He takes plays off. And then all of a sudden, it seems like they make it to the playoffs or he's expecting you're going to be there. He turns it on for then, but not making
It's not
his
even
money during the season.
it's not even a question of like everybody knows how good Chris Jones is. That's he is. He's a very special player. Let's get that straight. However, this is something that I've noticed for the last 2 to 3 years with this guy where if you really watch the whole game of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Chiefs fans, I know you're kind of picking up on my, coattails a little bit here. You're finally catching up. But Chris Jones, this is a guy who doesn't give it his all every single play. As great as he is, he could be considered one of the best, if not the best, D tackle, dare I say it, if he applied himself every single snap and gave it 100%, kind of like what Max Crosby does. It's uncanny, but the guy's
Oh
out
yeah.
there for damn near 90 to 100% of the snaps, which is lunacy if you're a player.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Jones, I'm just asking you, like every time you're out there, give it your all, and we're not seeing that. And that's a big problem for this Chiefs defense. They rely on him to make those big time splash plays, get the big sack when you need it the most, or stop the run when you need it the most. That's what we're used to seeing. However, the other side of that coin is Chris Jones taking snaps off here and there, not just playing all out every single snap. And that's got to be something that has to be addressed, I feel like, for a guy who's nearly one of the most heavily paid D tackles in the game currently. And you're not acting like you're getting paid a lot of money. You act like you're making the same amount of money as a practice squad guy right now, like
Mm-hmm.
taking plays off left and right. And that Chiefs can't have that. They
Mm-hmm.
need a bona fide Pro Bowler every snap. And if you can't do that, get out of the lineup. Yeah, you
Right.
want to take a snap or two off. Get off the
Get
field.
out. There's
Go
plenty of other
take a
guys can
breather.
go in there. Yeah.
Go take a breather and come back when you're ready to rock out. And that's the thing is we've seen it way too often, Jim. And
Yeah.
now everybody's starting to open their eyes now and see him for what he is. The other part of the bad story for Chris Jones is as great as he is, struggles immensely against the run game. You wouldn't think
Mhm.
so, a guy his size with his strength and his ability. But man, last year he was graded with PFF 59 as a run stopping grade. Absolutely horrible. It looks like it's carrying over into this season because if you watch the game against the Jaguars, where was Chris Jones on all those big runs? Getting bullied right out of the way.
Yep, absolutely, Joe. Yeah, and again, like I said, we're hearing it all over X right now, and something that you've talked about for the last couple of years. So for a long time, and nobody really picked up. I guess apparently, I don't know. But we've got a couple comments in the house. We got Mike Tackett with us tonight.
What's going on,
Shout
Mike?
out to him. He says Trevor Lawrence made the play of the year last night. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's funny too because it shouldn't have been that difficult, but yeah, you get stepped on, you trip, but then you get nervous trying to get back up, and the thing is, after he fell back down, to get back up again, find a chance to get back up and go. A lot of people have just been, man, I'm just down, I can't get up, and it's a debacle. But again, when you don't have Chris Jones rushing it all up the middle, just kind of watching you flop around like a fish.
Just hanging out.
It kind of helps, that's what I mean. It's like, and then you just walk around the side. It was wide open. Kudos to his left tackle for holding it down over there that long during that whole thing. But yeah, that's got to be one of the plays of the century, just to kind of watch and how it unfolded, and for them to get that touchdown and the win on it. It's definitely something to watch again and marvel at. But again, like Joe, like you and I have talked about again, you can't rely on stuff like that though. You guys got to do better. And the bonehead interception he had too is like, what the hell are you guys doing there? You guys aren't on the same page. Let's get it going. Mike Tackett also says, is the real reason why Cincinnati did not trade for Jameis Winston is because of money?
No, because here's the report. The report is that Cincinnati never called the Giants at all to inquire about Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson. Not at all. Not even a phone call. And we said last week that was one of the organizations we thought Cincinnati would call, because Russell Wilson's recent, benching and all that. But no phone call there. No phone call to the Atlanta Falcons. No Kirk Cousins interest. What do? They go and trade for Joe Flacco, the Cleveland Brown himself, who just lost his starting job.
Yeah.
And now they're rolling with Dylan Gabriel for the foreseeable future. So Flacco's now, on his way to Cincinnati. Now, I got to say, I mean, as poorly as Flacco has played with Cleveland, at least he's going to Cincinnati, where he has some of the best weapons to throw to. And the offensive line might be the same, might be a little bit weaker, but at least he has weapons.
I'd say that's the best weapons he's ever thrown to before in his career.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
So, yeah. So, I mean, for him to go there, it's a dream vacation here for him. So,
right.
And what I found interesting is the fact that they traded within the division, right? You trade to a rival within your division, and now Joe Flacco has played for the Ravens, the Browns, and now the Bengals. Since so we're going to see Pittsburgh. Are you done with the Aaron Rodgers after this? Give him
after this year. Bring in Joe Flacco to replace him.
Get him the quadfecta. Let's go. But I don't mind the move though. I think it makes sense to me because again, you look at Russell Wilson again. He lost his job on his own on accord to how he played. So. Do you really want to even do that? Not really. Jameis Winston, again, he was third on the roster. So do you really want to try that? And he's turnover prone. Joe Flacco has made some turnovers most recently, but he is capable. And like you said, a veteran and you give him these weapons. I think he's the right guy here to kind of right the ship for you a little bit. At least give you a fighting chance. But, and it only took, for Cleveland to just be like, all right, we're going to bench you here. We're putting in the young kid. And they're like, oh, Cincinnati's like, all right, we're in business. Guys, let's give him a call. And get back to the States, though, because I don't want to get that charge for calling overseas.
There you go. But, hey, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Dylan Gabriel gets an opportunity, even though
I thought he did pretty good, too.
It was abroad. Had a pretty good game. I mean, even though they ended up losing, but man, Dylan Gabriel didn't look like a rookie too much, and actually stepped up to the plate for them. So listen, that's the best thing you can hope for if you're Cleveland is you got better quarterback play by switching to one of your rookies. Now, what's funny is now that Flacco's out of there, guess who steps into the second string position? Shedeur Sanders. He's slowly climbing the ladder. Everyone.
He is. And again, man, the fans are just waiting for it to go wrong or something. It's going to go crazy again. It's going to be nuts. The circus has only begun. The circus has only begun, Joe. So, what Mike Tackett says, in college, guys who would take off the first two plays and on third down, they would call it money down.
Yeah. Well,
I get that.
Should be your money down.
Every day, but before, you're right there against the ropes in the red zone. You need to stop him here. You've got seconds on the clock. They don't have any timeouts. The dude stumbles twice.
Yeah.
You just stand and watch him. And then he gets off running and you just watch again.
And it's weird because usually in those moments is where Chris Jones shines, is where he busts through the O-line almost like they weren't even there and gets the sack or gets the stop. and it sets back the offense, and now they got to figure something else out. We didn't see that. We saw a guy who pretty much they broke his will towards the end of that game, where like he wasn't getting the penetration, wasn't getting the pressure that he normally gets, and was getting
Hmm.
frustrated. You could see that even on the sidelines. And
Yeah.
then when it came time to rise above and show out, still not really in the game, if you know what I mean. Mentally, physically, definitely not. And the Jaguars walked over and stole the win.
Absolutely. Stole a win there too. But the way these divisions are panning out, especially that West now, it's even crazier here. The Chargers lost the last couple of games here. Denver winning now too. So it's still tight. I don't think KC's still out of it. So there's a lot of football to be made and played. And before we get into our next segment, Joe, too, what
Mhm.
about the whole just celebrating before the end zone, man, and letting the ball go too early? How is this coming back? I thought seriously that once Deshaun Jackson did it, and some of these guys, maybe the problem is that some of
Right.
these receivers aren't old enough, to even see that play now at this point. But maybe they should go back and watch it. With Deshaun Jackson doing it a while back in his rookie year, that people just learned. But even Adonai Mitchell did it last week, and still DeMarcado does it this week. After you just saw literally a dude do it last week, like,
It's
what
not
are you
even
guys doing? Just
the
scored.
problem is it's not even the fact that they're not even rookies. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can't even blame it on, oh,
Right.
I'm a rookie, I
Yeah, yeah,
screwed
yeah.
up, my bad. No,
Yeah.
these guys have been in the NFL for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fundamental thing. You just don't let go of the ball until you cross the goal line. You
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure you score. What are
Yeah.
we doing?
Yeah.
The NFL, like, geez, I mean, I don't know. Is it the coaching? Is it like what's going on here, everyone? You got guys that are just dropping the football, loosey goosey. Oh, right, inches away from the goal line. My bad. Like, I'm sorry, all my fault, dude. You cost us the game.
Cost you the game just
This
like
is
that.
ridiculous. Like,
That
come
was a
on. This is
that was a crazy
fundamental
play.
football. Make sure you score before you do want to do your
Oh.
celebration. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm Gannon, on that one too, I'm just like, dude, like, you're doing push-ups, you're doing everything, you're doing everybody's laundry, you're doing whatever, man. You're doing everything this week to make up for that. Cause what the hell are you thinking?
You're
You're
cleaning the
not thinking.
toilets, is what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. So, all right, let's talk about the 49ers here. How about that? In a division to where it's still even close, Seattle goes down in a close one to Baker Mayfield, who gets no respect still for some reason, with the Buccaneers,
Mhm.
but have to face off against the Rams in a tough one, who again, they look like they had an easy streak kind of to roll into this division, but these teams are playing tough. Seattle's playing tough. Rams, I
Mhm.
thought were going to get it just because, again, Mac Jones is pretty beat up. You've got the other
Actually,
injuries here for the 49ers too. But when you look at that game, especially Mac Jones, 33 for 49, 349 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne, 10 catches out of 11 targets for 142 yards. And the thing is, these guys are so familiar with each other and the comforts there. They played back when the Patriots back even they're trying to get back to the glory years back in
mhm.
2021 where they were making a playoff run. If these two can hold it down until the weapons get back, Brock Purdy comes back healthy, and this team can become a playoff team, this could be probably two of the best free agent signings that John Lynch has kind of made in that aspect as a GM.
I mean, this is only one game, right? Like we have to, kind of funnel it down a little bit, because we got to see what happens with the future next two. You know what I mean? Let's just say Brock Purdy can't make it back for the next 2 weeks, right? We're gonna get to see Mac Jones more. Now, the one thing I will say about Mac Jones is he's an absolute warrior. The guy
Mm,
literally was
mm,
getting beat the hell up in that game, left and right, re-injuring an injury that he already had prior to before he even played in that game,
yeah.
and was in an immense amount of pain, and especially in the second half. You could just see it body language wise. You saw him on the sideline. They're doing everything they can to kind of, you know, nullify the pain or whatnot. But man, absolute warrior to fight through that game, no matter how bad it got for him. And with this team, you're seeing a Mac Jones that the Niners are kicking themselves for not drafting to begin with. Everybody thought that was going to be the pick for the 49ers, third overall, got to be Mac Jones. Didn't happen. Instead, they go a different direction. That went off the freaking train tracks real quick. So this is a guy that they wanted beforehand. They get him in free agency, and now that he's a backup behind Brock Purdy goes down. Look at this guy flourish. This guy was made to be a 49er.
Mhm.
And Brock Purdy better watch it because he keeps continuing to get injured and missing more time. Kyle Shanahan might just kind of say, hey, you know what? Let's roll with the hot hand. Brock Purdy keeps getting hurt. Mac Jones is going on a tear right now. And
Mm.
we don't even have all of our receivers. No Ricky
Yeah.
Parasol was there.
Yep.
No
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk is back yet. Like,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
because
No,
that's
no
been the
George
one
Kittle.
argument, right, Joe? That's been the one argument because, again, when Brock Purdy was there and he didn't have some of his weapons, he didn't play so hot, right? He wasn't looking so good stat-wise, was turning the ball over. Meanwhile, again, you've got Mac Jones, who does have, starting, experience, for the, drafted by the Patriots, played there. As your backup too, and this is kind of the worst case scenario for a starting quarterback. This guy comes in, already has experience, can be productive, has been successful before,
Mhm.
and shines, right? And this is part of the plan that I've talked about, like with the Cincinnati Bengals should have kind of done, right? You've got a quarterback that's great like Joe Burrow, but get a veteran that has experience that can play, that's not going to take a whole lot, that's even looking for something to kind of show a little bit of a redemption here and keep the ball rolling while the main guy's out, right? And this is why the 49ers, I think, are such a good organization and what they do, and why this was a great signing. Like you said, they're already interested in drafting this guy. They get this guy in their house now. And how many times, too, have we seen other quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, guys that go into great organizations and then come out a changed man, and now they're starting in the league right now for other teams and still doing well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Mac Jones has been a hot commodity, to be honest with you. Anytime he's available, he's always the first guy that everybody kind of calls up and sees. Would he be interested in joining their team? Jaguars, had him in there.
Had him in
Trevor Lawrence went
house.
down with injury. Mac Jones came in and stepped up again. This is a
Mm-hmm.
guy that's kind of he's been given opportunities, but only because their starters down. But this guy definitely deserves at least one shot to like be a starter for somebody. And,
Mm-hmm.
and right now, like I hate to be dishonest, but you know what? Like, it seems like he's going to be wasting his time yet again in San Francisco because as soon as Brock Purdy comes back and is completely healthy and ready to go, it's going to be his job. They paid the man for a reason. He's their guy.
Yeah.
So, what does this mean for Mac Jones? To me, this is the biggest question: is what does it mean for him after he's done with San Fran? Is there going to be a club? Maybe it's going to be Cleveland again. Who knows? Uh, but I mean, it could be anybody else. That is
Could be
looking for
anybody at this
an
point.
opportunity where he could actually start and carry a team. I think he's been in the league long enough and has earned that right or that opportunity with whatever club that is.
Right. It's definitely, if you're looking at teams that would still potentially be looking for a quarterback, but again, it would probably be bridge quarterback. They only have
Mhm.
Justin Fields for a loaner even right now. How about
Right.
going to New York and the Jets? Again, they could still draft their quarterback,
Mhm.
sign Mac Jones. He's tough. You've got a running game they can get it going. That defense, hopefully, that can play better, than what they did the last couple of weeks. Last week, it just seems like this team has lost all hope altogether here. But Mac Jones, I can see him playing there and having some success.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the struggles defensively for the Jets, and I gotta be honest. I think it's because ever since they removed Robert Sala, ever since they kicked him out of the organization, it's been curtains for that defense. That defense has been a shell of itself. It's nothing. Even with the
Mhm.
new scheme that they implemented with Aaron Glenn, and everybody was all excited about Aaron Glenn, former Jet, going to come in, change over this defense. We're going to get back on track. Nope. They're struggling more than ever. And it's not because of lack of talent either. They got
No,
talent on that
exactly.
football
That's what's
field.
strange.
So
Yeah.
it's got to be the scheme. It's got to be the way they're coaching things. It's got to be all of that put together on the defensive side, and that's in turn is hurting whatever points they're able to produce offensively, and it just they're having issues. They just can't figure it out.
Absolutely, Joe. The penalties, the turnovers, I mean, they're killers altogether. So That's one of the teams that we definitely do know. You know, again, we've seen the undefeateds kind of lose finally here, but again, they're good teams. The
Mhm.
teams at the bottom of the barrel, they're still at the bottom, and you know we're like if you look at a team like the Saints, they just come off they have got a win here, a comeback win against the Giants,
Yeah,
to where again the Giants just coughed that game up altogether,
that
and
was a
that's a
good game.
perfect way to kind of just throw it out there. They just caught they were down to score multiple times. They were moving the ball, but just
Mhm.
even Scatterboo, and I can't,
Yeah,
blame him though. That ball just got punched out right to the high
I
point
know.
where it was. I mean, but still, turnovers, that'll kill you just like
The
that.
problem.
You've got a 14-3 lead, think you're going to win this one and roll them, and then, some team comes back there and punch you in the mouth. And that's the thing about the Saints this year. We looked at them on paper and said they're just not going to be very good, but they've been competitive throughout every single game and not back down at all. And this was one of those games where you could see it happening, and it did, and they pulled out a victory here, to where now you're looking at like a team like the Jets, where they're just getting blown out on the daily. It's not looking too good for them.
Here's the thing that I'll say about the Saints is still like, yes, are they competitive? Sure. I mean, but this is the NFL. This is every team should be somewhat competitive. Nobody should be giving up 40 points or so, like kind of like college type of scores.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen that this year too. We've seen the other side of the NFL where it's like, holy shit, that's a lot of points. Like, and the other team didn't score hardly anything.
Yeah,
So that's a problem. Like you need to address that real quick. But I mean, all in all, like that's the thing is that this NFL season, we've said it earlier in the show that it's been so unpredictable up to this point. Usually you have kind of like a good feeling about teams, or at least you're pretty close on what you think you know about each squad. And to be honest, we're going after week 5 into week 6, and I'm scratching my head on every single team. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, had a blowout win, then the following week they're like nowhere close to what they were before. Like it's really perplexing. It's week to week now. You have
yeah,
to reassess every team week to week. It's not like, oh well, the Chiefs are gonna, now that they got back on track offensively, they're just gonna kind of run the table, right, and win the division and kind of it's like a broken record. They're back in the playoffs and 1 or 2 seed. But, man, this is a team that goes from, they're also like a roller coaster. They play well, and then they play poor, and look at that Jaguar game. It was a very competitive game, and honestly, I was telling Chiefs fans, I was like, "Listen, don't be so sure you're gonna steamroll through the Jaguars. This is a team that has
oh yeah.
good defense, and their offense, their running attack is stellar this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, you better bring your A game." And the Chiefs brought their B game and couldn't finish them off.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Jaguars steal a win, and then now we're talking about the Jaguars instead of the Chiefs.
Yep, absolutely. And again, then you look at the Baltimore Ravens getting injuries and then whatnot, but I still did not see Houston just destroying them like that. Houston, to where this
Ah,
offense hasn't been doing much this year. It just seems like they're trying to figure things out. That offensive line struggling even since they, got traded away Laramie
right.
Tunsil. Uh,
Yep.
not looking at like the offense of the past,
Mhm.
and for him to come out here and to destroy the Ravens like that,
Right.
massive changeover. So
Yeah, and that's the thing
and
too.
so
It's
is
like
the league, Joe.
I feel like those type of games where, when you think about it, like you're playing the Ravens. If you're the Texans, you're playing the Ravens. The game plan is pretty easy. It's pretty simplistic. It's We know Cooper Rush is the quarterback. He's not Lamar Jackson
Mhm.
anywhere close. And all we got to worry about is the pass. If we stop Derrick Henry in that running attack, we're good.
Mhm.
We only have to worry about pass protection, and we're really good at that. So it's
Right.
Cooper Rush.
That's what I mean. It takes away such a different, and it gives the other team such an advantage because, and that's why I talked about, with the difference of Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson. But same thing. Cooper Rush is not Lamar Jackson. Cooper Rush is not going to be able to do or run RPOs and things like that. He's not going to do that, and you're not going to be fooled on anything. You know what I mean? So you're limited to what you're doing on an offense. You're dropping back and leaving it to play action pass or whatever. Basically, like you said, tee up on Derrick Henry, stop that, and then you're good. There is no other thing to watch. So you're not spying. You're not doing this. There's no other strategy to it. So, it changes the whole scheme of things. But All right, so that's it for tonight, Joe. And this week, talked about a lot of different things. It's craziness again, and this league still continues to surprise us week to week. Did terrible in picks this week, but who knows? Next
Yeah.
week might be able to bounce
Before
back. I don't know. You know.
before we go, Jim, did you hear about Jerry Jones getting fined by the
Oh
NFL?
yeah. Let's talk about this quick. Yeah, let's talk about this quick before we get the hell out of here. Right? Uh, is it more clear now that Jerry Jones, either one, is really truly senile? Right? That's the one thing. Or he's just oblivious and thinks he can just do whatever he wants and just lie to your face when you know what you did. Like this bullshit excuse you're giving us. You're like, oh no, I meant to do the thumbs up and I did this by accident and I end up getting the right finger eventually. Like, and I was doing it to Cowboys fans. Like, what the frig are
I'll
you
take
talking about, bro?
I'll take option B, where the guy doesn't give a shit about anything because the dude has more money than brains. And even though he is like one of the older owners, in the game, he is really respected in interleague circles. We all know that. But this
Mhm.
guy's really kind of coming unhinged a little bit here.
Yeah.
This guy's really like he's flipping off fans. He's doing whatever the hell he wants. And then when people kind of come at him and say, "Oh, well, what about Micah Parsons and all that?" He's like, well, I don't think it really was like that. I still like Marka or Micah, this, that, and the other
They
thing.
call
Like,
Michael.
nah, dude, you're literally showing everybody that you're losing your mind and no repercussions. Like that's what
Yeah.
it seems like. The guy does whatever he wants, and here you go. This is the first time that from the NFL side has done anything disciplinary towards Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Like this might not even be the first time he's done this, but this is the first time that it's being publicized in the NFL, giving him a $250,000 fine.
Yeah.
I mean, to him that's kind of like $2.50, but still,
Yeah. But still.
like it's kind of like a Jerry. We need you in check.
Yeah.
Settle
Yeah.
down. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it wrapped up here. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny and his excuse I think was classic.
Yeah.
Uh
That's like
again. Where Jerry
it's like
Jones
you're
again. What go ahead.
it's like your grandfather, right? Like you go you walk into his room and maybe he flips you off or says something like kind of like off the wall and you're like, "What the hell did you say, grandpa? You can't say that."
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden there they come in, everyone comes in, all the "Hey, what happened? What happened?" "Oh no, I was just showing Junior that I, I had a puzzle done." Like it's like with two different stories of what happened. It's like, dude, no, that's not what happened. You
Oh
flipped me
yeah.
off.
Yeah. What's funny to me, it almost seems like you said, it's like, dude, he's getting out there so much. It's like when Yoda in Star Wars was like the master and like he's knowledgeable, he's this, and then in the later one, like when he's trying to train Luke, he's like rummaging through his backpack like a crazy person, like, oh, what's this? And he's acting crazy. We're like, dude, what the frig happened to you? You're supposed to be like a Jedi master, and you're an idiot. What happened? And what's kind of funny is you look at Jerry Jones now, don't you look like he is kind of look more like Yoda now too? If you look at his face, he
I mean,
literally is transforming into Yoda.
I think if we turn him green and kind of like take some of the hair off the top, I think he could pass for like
He
a
could.
much bigger Yoda.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
Much
getting
bigger.
there. And like I said, his mannerisms are getting there as well. So
The force is not strong with that one. I'll tell you that right now.
absolutely not. All right. So yeah, that's it for us this week. Joe, tell everybody where they can get more episodes of the Blind Side Blitz.
It's real simple, guys, and it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you want to further improve this channel, we encourage you to do so. Head over to Grumblings Media, hit that subscribe button for us, hit the thumbs up while you're there. Let the algorithm know that you like us and you want us to stay. And tell a friend to tell a friend, share it with everybody that you know. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. See you guys.
Hey everybody, this is Big John from Grumblings Media, and I just want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our efforts here at Grumblings Media, just smash the subscribe button right here, totally free, or just go ahead and consume more of our great content. Click either one of these two boxes.